Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Sarath Chandran, and it's a pleasure to be here in this platform today. So, along with me, my colleague Vasudev is also present here. Today, we are having one of the accreditation expert, Mr. Anil Jauhri, is present with us, and he is accepted to answer some of the his perspective on accredited inspection bodies. So we are going to have interactions. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation and taking your time and being here, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much for inviting me here. I'm happy to interact and share my information and experience that I have in accreditation with you.
Thank you, sir. So today's topic, we are taking is expert perspective on choosing inspection company. Sir, Qualpedia platforms, we have our target audiences like international buyers and retailers. So, we have like a couple of questions which we charted and which I'm going to ask you, and feel free to give your perspectives. So that's the agenda of this particular meeting. So before going further, let me introduce about Mr. Anil Jauhri. He is having more than 40 years experience. It's a huge experience he is having, and also he's a ex CEO of National Accreditation Board of Certification Body in India, and he is also like a scientist, FN head Bureau of Indian Standards. He is also like a CDM accreditation panel member, and also he is a member of APO technical working group on accreditation. He is also like contributing as IAF evaluator and APAC lead peer evaluator. So Mr. Jauhri is like one of the authority in accreditations, and also it's pleasure, sir, meet you before in your CEO capacity in NABCB, now seeing as a mentor and contributing to a lot of webinars to building the ecosystems. Thank you very much for your contribution, sir.
Thank you. I'm happy to, as I said, I'm happy to share whatever experience I have, and having retired now, the best way is to help people understand the issues and build capacity. Standards and regulations and accreditation is still a not very well understood area actually.
Yeah. Also, we are keenly watching your LinkedIn posts or articles or videos or any topics which you write in the conformity assessments areas, particularly that how to identify fake certificates of ISO certification. It's a very useful one, sir. And I could see that many people are also getting benefit out of your knowledge.
Yeah, actually, I've become active on social media after retirement only. And I'm even using Facebook, which normally people use for personal matters. You will find that it's purely professional, all about standards, quality, accreditation, regulation. And the main goal I today have is to enhance understanding of everybody about the issues involved and how best we can use this, what is called quality infrastructure, to the benefit of the society.
Yeah, thank you for making that difference, sir. It shows like your commitment and also your passion in this particular area, and you are also like very keen to make a difference.
Yeah, as I said, I still believe that, especially in India, I can't say this of the Western countries, but especially in India, there is a whole lot of ignorance about these issues among all stakeholders, be it government, be it industry, be it academics, be it even quality professionals. I mean, when I first started interacting with the consultants way back in 2018 as CEO of NABCB, I discovered that consultants knew very little about accreditation and how to identify a good certificate, etc. They knew all about ISO 9001, that they did not know anything about the conformity assessment accreditation part of it. So there is, there's urgent need and enormous need in India to educate people on what are the issues involved, how best to leverage this to your advantage.
Yeah, yeah. So even I remember like 8 years back only when I got exposed like when I was attending like one of the webinars. So from there like we got interested for getting this 17020 accreditation. So once we started and implemented, then only we will started to realize like what all the benefits are there.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir. So, like, let me share about this particular platform, sir, Qualpedia. So, this Qualpedia platforms, like, we started around 8 months back. So, in this through this platform, like, we are sharing knowledge, particularly in the dimension of quality, conformity, and maturity assessments. We got like some of our internal company people and also some experts like you. So they write some blogs, videos, and articles. We are also like in the same thoughts of like building ecosystems, like educating the our target customers and the industry, so that like everyone get awareness while dealing with companies, or what is the best practices while they are procuring merchandise from India or Asian countries. And this we are using as a communication channel to educate our supply chain partners and create awareness in retailers, buyers, and students community. That's what we are doing in this platform, sir.
Excellent.
So
That's very good idea. That's I appreciate that very much. Any attempt at capacity building, sharing knowledge is welcome actually today.
yeah, yeah. So like that's the reason like we created a separate platform in the name of Qualpedia, apart from our regular company's identity. So we want to keep it mainly for the knowledge sharing, so that like many other experts like you can come and contribute.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, yeah. So, like some of the questions as I shared, like we have noted down. So, one of the questions normally, like our customers, like particularly they ask, say, like why should customers choose an accredited inspection company? So, there are many options are there. So, there are platforms are there where they can select like freelancers, or there are many companies, local companies are there. So why they should choose an accredited inspection company?
Yeah. See, the fact is that inspection can be done by anybody. An individual can do it. Any organization can do it. Even, I mean, around the world and in India especially, legally there is no requirement of any kind of any licensing or registration or any kind. So anyone can be tomorrow I can set up an inspection body and nobody can prevent me from doing that. So how do you assure that this is a competent inspection body if you are going to choose an inspection body? You may have known in your circle somebody suggests a name to you. That's the one way. You can go by a brand name. Some good name is there, so you think, oh, if it's a well-known brand name. But what is the institutional mechanism? I mean, if we are quality professionals and we are looking at good systems, then what is the institutional mechanism? Frankly, accreditation seems to be the only institutional mechanism today which can assure that the body is competent and it is impartial and it is consistently it applies the same process for doing what it is doing, what we call conformity assessment process, whether it's certification, it is testing, it is inspection. So as far as I am concerned, and precisely for the same reason people are asking for inspection. Why are you asking for inspection? Because you are not taking the claim of your buyer, your supplier, that I am supplying goods to good quality to your standard. You are not accepting his claim. You are saying, no, I want to verify your claim. So same thing applies to inspection body. If I say I can inspect textiles, why should you accept my claim unless I get it validated by a third party? And that is what accreditation is all about. A third party validation, or attestation rather, we say technically, of the competence, of the impartiality, of the consistent application of a good process. That's why I think accreditation is It's very essential actually.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, sir. Like, can you put some? Can you elaborate little bit about importance of that impartiality?
Yes, any evaluation body, if I am going to evaluate anything, I should be impartial. You expect, I mean, start from our school days when we are in school. We would expect that our teacher, when he evaluates 30 students in a class or 40 students in class, he is impartial. He does a objective job, and sometimes we do feel that okay, the teacher is not impartial; he is being partial to student X or student Y. But anybody who is in evaluation has to be impartial, and therefore it is important that if I want reliable results, I have an impartial body. Now, impartiality of an organization can get affected in two, three ways. One is by simply its own, relationships externally with other organizations. Suppose I am a manufacturer on one hand, I have an inspection body on the other, and then it also happens that I'm inspecting products of my rival. I'm getting information. If both are owned by the same person, when you are going for evaluation into an organization, you are getting confidential information about the business processes, about raw materials, about the all kinds of information which is supposed to be confidential. If I'm an external, say, consulting organization which is providing consulting on one hand and then goes to inspect, then how do you reject a product or a process or a system where you may have provided consultancy through another name? So one is the external, relationships of the organization, the inspection agency. Second is activities within. I mean, if I am a manufacturer and I also have an inspection, same thing applies. The same activities which I told you outside can affect the impartiality, will certainly affect the impartiality. If within the legal entity I am doing the same things. If I am a designer of a product, then I'm inspecting products. I'm a designer of the product, so I'm inspecting either my own design, which is not allowed, or I'm inspecting my rival's design, which is also an issue on impartiality. Sometimes people tell me, what is the problem if I am inspecting products which are not designed by me? I mean, my designs, surely there's a problem, but if they are not designed by me, or if they are not manufactured by me, then what's the problem in impartiality? The problem is that if you are a designer, if you are a manufacturer, and if you are inspecting products which are not designed or manufactured by you, then you are inspecting products designed or manufactured by somebody else who might be a rival in the market for the same activity. Then how do we expect you to be impartial? We can't. So that's the second part, the activities within the organization. And third part is relationships of individuals. I am a damn good inspector, but the company you are sending me to is owned by my son. So what am I supposed to do? Am I going to go and reject a product which is coming from my son's company? So this is also an impartiality issue. Or I have a company where I have a huge financial stake in a company, and now you're asking me to go and inspect this consignment from company X where I have a huge financial stake. Then there's a problem about impartiality. So these things are, important. Impartiality is absolutely, to me, I mean, as important as competencies. In fact, in Indian context, probably it's even more important, and in some countries, it's even more important. And please remember, impartiality is also affected by cultural factors. I mean, in an Indian context where family bonds are strong, a second cousin is also a relation. A first cousin is certainly a relation. It may not so be in West, that it's a first cousin, how does it matter? But in India, it does matter. So impartiality also has a cultural connection, which sometimes people ask me in relation to accreditation. Why do we need NABCB accreditation? Why not a foreign accreditation? Sometimes the foreign accreditation body may not understand these cultural connotations, which affect impartiality in a country like India, or in Oriental countries generally where family values are strong and family is strong. So in fact, I mean, we have to be, I remember we had experience of impartiality in certification, bad experiences. And we actually defined that you had to declare, if you go for accreditation, you had to declare your family's affiliations. and we define the family, that your spouse, your children, your parents, your spouse parents, your spouse siblings, your siblings, spouse siblings, please declare their affiliations. Who are they? What are they doing? Because they should not be in a conflicting activity which might affect the impartiality. Now, this may not be true in, say, Western economies, but certainly true in India. So impartiality to me is absolutely, I think I had more issues on impartiality of conformity assessment than on competence of conformity assessment through my, say, 13.5 years in NABCB.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Like you have thrown light in many aspects, and also that examples on teachers is like very good example to understand that aspects very well. And also like you touch base like some questions which I am going to ask in upcoming slides. One is like that area. Before that, I am going to that confidential information. So today, like data is like a very important assets for anyone, and intellectual property rights in the digital world is like also one of the critical factors. So in terms of accreditations, like when it's doing that inspection body, can you throw some aspects on confidentiality protection? What process is followed, sir?
Well, the fact is that confidentiality is part of every conformity assessment standard, including 1720, which is for inspection bodies, or 1721, which is for certification bodies, because all the conformity assessment bodies, as we say, inspection bodies or certification bodies, which are going into inspect or audit a company, become privy to absolutely internal confidential information. And the protection of confidentiality is absolutely important, because having gone to so many so many places, I'm privy to the processes. I know what process is followed where, and that information can be very useful to the rivals of that company, the competitors of that company. So confidentiality is absolutely built into the standards. If we accredit any inspection body, that's one of the requirements. We expect that the company would have, an inspection body would have systems in place to ensure confidentiality and protect confidentiality. That's part of the system, and it is always checked how confidentiality is being maintained. I remember sometime I'm giving example of accreditation because we go through the same process as you go through as an inspection body when you are evaluated, and we are also, that we are evaluated at the regional level. I remember the first thing they would ask is usually the assessors, evaluators who would come is just want to go around your office, and we would say sure, please. And I realized that they were looking at where the records are kept and how the records are kept, and they're looking at whether records are under lock and key. These are hard copy days I'm talking of. Whether the records under lock and key or not. They just want to check. They will not tell you. They simply say, can you just take us around the office? But the main purpose was always looking at how the records are maintained, how they are kept, are they under lock and key, who has access to those records. Now with soft records, this has become even more, complicated as well as easy, you can say, both ways. It works both ways. You don't have hard copy record, you don't have to bother about, you can retain records in a small place, but equally then what are the securities built in and access control built in. We should be looking at, and we look at those parts, how you make sure that the records which are maintained in the inspection body are securely kept. It's a requirement, and it's very important.
So thank you, sir. Thank you. That lock and key example is like a very good one.
And, yeah, I faced those evaluations. I realized, all they are doing is just keeping an eye on how the records are being kept. Yeah. Nothing else. They have no other interest.
Yeah. So I will move on to my next question, sir. So how would an accredited inspection agency findings help a buyer? Like if a buyer get a inspection report or a inspection certificate, like what benefit are they are getting it out of that?
I think primarily two benefits, I would say. Number one, of course, is because you are having a competent inspection body, so you can rely he would use, even if buyer has given the requirements, and please inspect against these requirements. These are my standard. The method used for inspection also has a value. What kind of method is being used? Are they internationally accepted method or not? That is one part of it. Second part is, accreditation also has, because it's done to common international standards. For example, inspection bodies are accredited to ISO 17020, which is common all across. So it also has an element of cross-border acceptance. If you are accredited, we have a very beautiful system where the international body actually physically evaluates the regional bodies. So ILAC, which is the international body for inspection, International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, which is for inspection as well as for laboratory testing, calibration, etc. They actually evaluate a regional body. And every 4 years, it happens every 4 years. And there are regional bodies in Europe, European Accreditation Cooperation. There is one in both the North and South Americas called Inter-American Accreditation Cooperation. We are covered by Asia Pacific Accreditation Cooperation. There is one called African Accreditation Cooperation in Africa. And there's another one which is called Arab Regional Accreditation Cooperation, which covers regional Arab countries, both in Africa as well as in Asia. So there are 5 recognized regions. And those regional bodies are responsible for peer evaluation of individual accreditation bodies. So every 4 years again. So NABCB, which is an accreditation body, got evaluated every 4 years. And as you saw in my biodata, you yourself said, I'm an IF evaluator. Right now, I'm in the middle of evaluating on behalf of IF, Arab Regional Accreditation Cooperation, as well as Inter-America Accreditation Cooperation. And I'm also a peer evaluator for APAC that you said in your introduction to me. So I'm actually going to peer evaluate accreditation body in Hong Kong in April for inspection. Inspection itself, I am a qualified peer evaluator for inspection. So this whole system, as we say in our language, in God we trust, the rest all have to show evidence. So here is an example where international body evaluates regional body evaluates accreditation body evaluates inspection body like you, inspection body evaluates the product or process of somebody. So the whole thing is, this chain is assuring that an accredited inspection body in India, which has gone through this process, and it's called MRS signatory, mutual recognition arrangement of APAC and then of ILAC, both regional and then first regional and then international, that you are equivalent. So as an inspection body, you can claim that you are equivalent to any inspection body around the world, which is accredited by a ILAC member body. So that brings in cross-border acceptance of result. Actually, accreditation is used in trade. I am part of trade negotiations. I have been part of trade negotiations India has had with other countries. Even today, after retirement, I am helping Department of Commerce. And accreditation is being referenced to accept results that a product tested, certified in India can be accepted in, say, UK, or a product tested and certified in UK or inspected in UK can be accepted in India without further testing, so it saves a lot of cost to the industry. So the cross-border, in fact, the biggest USP of accreditation is more than competence. To me, is about cross-border acceptance, international recognition, the equivalence that you bring in the whole market. That an inspection done in India or in Bangladesh is equivalent to an inspection being done in US or in Australia, all corners of the world. So that's a big advantage.
Yeah. So like I had in my list to ask this question. So you already covered this. Like, what is the difference between Western accredited and Indian accredited inspection company? So it's all same. I got from your. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we are on par. NABCB in India, or even Sri Lankan Accreditation Board, is on par with accreditation bodies all around the world, having gone through the peer evaluation process and having signed the mutual recognition arrangement of ILAC and APAC. I'm talking about inspection. We are all equivalent. So you, as an inspection body accredited by NABCB today, if you are accredited by NABCB today, you can claim that you are internationally equivalent. You are as good as any other body around the world. That's a huge system. This is the USP of this system.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. So, one of the our international customers, like normally, one of the concern is on ethical practices. So normally they say like how we can assure that the inspection companies personnel are not getting a red envelope in China or in India, like people are getting some kind of corruption practices which affects the results. So, is it any process in the accreditations like which monitors or weights in this area, sir?
Yes, certainly. The point of in inspection, the point of independence as well as impartiality, it covers the part. I mean, if you are corrupt, if your inspectors are not being ethical, it's surely a direct assault on impartiality. He's not being impartial. He's partial now. He's giving favorable results or even not doing inspection and writing an inspection report. In the worst case scenario, we know it can happen that you don't conduct the inspection and still write an inspection report saying everything is fine. And inspection to that extent is more crucial than other activities like say ISO 9001 audit, because in in certification, review is an essential part of the process. Audit done and then a review, independent review. In inspection, there is no such thing. In inspection, an inspector is the boss. He goes on site and he's authorized to sign a report there itself. And at times they give the report, a copy of the report to the client right there. It happens. Client or the whoever is being inspected. So inspector is really to me much more powerful than an ISO 9001 auditor whose work will always be reviewed. Or even an accreditation assessor like me, my work will always be reviewed before the report is accepted. There is going to be a review, but not so in case of inspection. So inspection is sensitive in that sense, more sensitive, and this part is looked at from a point of view of impartiality and independence of the inspection body. And there are inspection bodies which have systems in place to assure that. One interesting episode I can tell you. There was an inspection body which told me that their compliance, chief, he would all of a sudden one day decide to go and drop in at inspection site A, for example, or B, just to check whether the inspectors are reaching on time, they are doing their job properly. So in course of time, the inspectors realize that, okay, since this guy is going to drop in at some inspection site, they actually, worked out with the security guard that the day he does not come to office, please let us know. Now he may be sitting on leave for all you know, but the guard will inform all the inspectors or one inspector and they will network that Mr. XYZ has not come to office today. So be careful. As many, as many systems to make sure that you are doing your job properly, as many counters to that system also. But yes, this is an important part of the ethics. The ethical part is important as far as inspection is concerned. Yes.
Yeah. So, like one more concerns like normally customers ask is like the competency. Like when an inspector goes and does the inspection, how competencies of inspection body personals are verified. So that is like one of the critical area.
Yeah. Okay. So when I answer this question, let me first tell you what is the accreditation process itself for an inspection body. Usually it's a three-stage process for a conformity assessment body. You have an international standard to which an inspection body is supposed to comply. So we say, in the first instance, please tell us, document your system and show us that you have documented your system as per the international standard. So first stage is that we will look at the documentation of the inspection body, whether it conforms to the international standard. Part of the documentation, please remember, always is impartiality. How do you assure impartiality? Part is process. What is the inspection criteria? What is the inspection method? Which scope? I may be competent in inspecting construction, but not in textiles. I may be competent in inspecting textiles, but not oil and gas safety. So this part is there, the process and competence. who is going to do the inspection? What is the competence? What is the system for assuring that the inspectors are competent? So we look at the documented system. So you have to document. So if you are doing textile inspection, I'll ask you. I remember once it happened, somebody was treated as competent in textiles. I still just remember the textile example. And his qualification was Bachelor of Commerce. Okay. I mean, usually if it's a Bachelor of Textiles degree, one would expect, yes, he should be competent. Not that it is necessary he would be competent, but one assumes. But Bachelor of Commerce, so I want to know more. There is no bar on Bachelor of Commerce doing textile inspection, frankly. But I want to know more. How does he become competent? Oh no, he worked in a textile factory for 10 years. 10 years, okay, that's good. He worked in a textile factory. Can you tell me what was his job? Was it in production? Was it in quality assurance? Where was he working? Oh, he was industrial relations manager. Oh, come on, I said industrial relations manager. Don't tell me industrial relations manager requires knowledge of the standard says you should have knowledge of technology, knowledge of processes, knowledge of the product. How does one get that? So system is important. How do you qualify? So first part we do is document review and see that. Second part, we go to the office of inspection body. We say now we want to see the system in operation. So tell us what is your system of competence? If you tell me, okay, he should have a degree in bachelor's degree with 5 years experience in textile industry. If you would write that, I would still catch hold of him. No, 5 years experience in textile industry is not enough. Please specify where. Is it in production? Is it in quality assurance? Or is it in human relations, human resources? Or is it in contract management? So we have to be clear. Then I say, okay, how many inspectors do you have? You tell me you have 10 inspectors in textiles. I'll say, okay, I'll sample a few. Let me pick up 3-4 of them. Please bring the personal record and show us that they actually meet the criteria that you have laid down in your own system. The beauty of this system is you lay down the criteria, you prove to us you are following that criteria. We are not laying down anything. 1720 does not give anything. It simply says you should have a system and you should follow it consistently. And it should assure, it only says the competence should cover XYZ, the knowledge of the product, knowledge of the process, knowledge of technologies. What can non-conforming product do? How important it would be. Slightly non-conforming, can it still be used? Can it not be used? These kind of judgments have to be exercised by the inspector. So second part is actually seeing evidence. Out of 10 inspectors, I may pick up files of 4 and see. The third part, crucial part, is witnessing. I say, okay, now having seen this seems to be okay. Your documents are okay, your evidence is okay. Now let me actually see an inspection. How do you do? So as an accreditation body assessor, I would accompany you. You are going for an inspection of a textile consignment, let's say, and we will accompany you and we'll just watch. It's a day-long inspection. You are doing inspection. We are watching. We always say there's fly on wall. You use the expression, not a very nice one, that please treat us like a fly on the wall. Ignore our presence. Go ahead and do your inspection. We tell the client also, please don't bother. He is inspecting you, we are not inspecting you. And we observe that inspection, what we call witnessing. So we actually witness inspections and we do it year round. It's not simply that at the time of grant of accreditation. Year round, as you maintain your accreditation, witnessing an essential part of. So then we actually see the competence of the inspector when he's actually doing it on site. There's nothing better than the proof of pudding is in eating kind of situation. So there is this 3-stage process, especially the witnessing part is. And we use systems approach. So if you're going to have 100 inspectors, we are not going to observe all your 100 inspectors. We are going to do a sampling of it. And we assume that if we do a sample, reasonable sample, it's good. Based on that evidence, we'll say, yes, your system is operating and you are competent. So that's how we establish competence. You're mute. Can't hear you.
Sarath, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. So thank you for the detailed answer, sir. It gives that detailed process. So I have 2 questions on that area. So one is how a buyer can know that whether the company is accredited, and also when they receive the inspection report or a certificate, whether it's covered in that particular scope or not. How they can know? Can you throw light on this, sir?
Yeah, sure. I mean, first thing is if I am selecting an inspection body, I should ask them directly, are you accredited or not? I mean, we should know. As a buyer, you should know there is something called accredited inspection body. There is something called accreditation, and you should ask. An inspection body would answer yes or no. If said yes, then the next question is who has accredited you? Okay, you say that I'm accredited by NABCB. Then you can certainly go to the website of NABCB, have a look at all accreditation bodies maintain a public directory of bodies that they have accredited, which contains not only that they have accredited, they also contain the scopes of accreditation. The scope of accreditation would mean an inspection body could be accredited for food safety audits, could be accredited for environmental compliance inspections, could be accredited for PPEs, could be accredited for textiles, could be accredited for oil and gas safety audits. I mean, you name it, all kinds of areas are there. So those areas would be given specifically to which standard you are accredited. Even the listing would be there on against what standards you can inspect. So once your competence is established, so that's the place to go. Go to the accreditation body's website, have a look and see. So that's how you make sure that it's an accredited body and it is within the technical area for which you are seeking. If you're seeking for textiles, you should see that textiles is within the scope of that accreditation. Second way of knowing is you insist that I would like to have an inspection report which must carry the logo of the accreditation body. And that is a sign that it is because the rules for use of logo have been defined by all accreditation bodies. And that logo cannot be used unless the inspection is covered under the scope of accreditation. Even better still, although not mandatory, but even better still, if you ask for the presence of ILAC logo, because that will ensure that it's MRA signatory also. The accreditation body has signed MRA and it is internationally equivalent. And ILAC logo would be common across the world. So while AB logos will vary, the logo of UK accreditation body and logo of NABCB or logo of Japanese accreditation body will be different. But ILAC logo is same all over the world. So that is a double protection or a double assurance that the inspection report is actual inspection is covered under accreditation. Because I could have textile scope covering 15 kinds of textile inspections, but not the 16th one for which I am quoting. So you have to be careful about the scope of accreditation. That your scope, a technical area is covered within the scope of accreditation.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that tip, sir. So, I have that final question. So, what is your advice for an international apparel or a home textile buyer who is thinking of using an accredited inspection company?
You know, certainly, as I said, how do you assure that you are choosing a competent body? I mean, apart from, your friend suggested somebody, word of mouth publicity or some brand names that you may know. But if you are an international company sourcing from all kinds of places, you may not have access to this information all the time. So what is the institutional mechanism? I can't see any other institutional mechanism but accreditation to assure you that it is a competent body. So that's why you should choose an accredited inspection body, because that will institutionally give you. Also remember that locally, it's very important, as I said, even in impartiality, what is the local culture, local practices. And I can give you any number of examples of the fact that as a local accreditation body in India, we could catch unethical practices far more easily than a foreign accreditation body could do. Where we knew what are the loopholes people may be using, what kind of unethical practices may be used in India. So we actually in NABCB, we built a reputation for being very, very harsh on unethical practices, especially on the ISO 9000 certification side, which has these kind of problems in far greater magnitude than on inspection. But so I would say that there is a merit to using local inspection bodies rather than sending out inspectors from Europe to India. They may be very, very competent. There's no doubt about that. But they may not understand the local conditions and they may not realize how difficult or how easy it is to verify the impartiality and the ethical part of inspections. So they are not aware of the local laws or the local conditions. Although accreditation, we have a responsibility to know more locally, but still, I mean, there's a difference. There's a difference, cultural difference. There's a mindset difference. I mean, I remember somebody asked me, how can somebody, issue an audit, issue a certification without conducting an audit? Well, he had a problem understanding that how can somebody do that? But well, it happens. So you have to be open in your mind that all kinds of unethical practices can take place. Somebody can submit an inspection report without doing an inspection. I am a strong advocate that you should try and use the local resources as much as you can, because they would know the local conditions much better than sending out inspectors from US or from Europe to India and trying to get inspection done.
So thank you very much, sir. Like we reached that allotted time, and thank you for taking time and sharing frankly your opinions, and it will add all the values to all our listeners and also our international buyers community. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me. I am very happy to have been given the opportunity to share some of the experiences that I have, and I hope these will come handy to your viewers and will add to their understanding, and we would have a better inspection word. Let's put it this way. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your contribution to building that ecosystem, sir.
Well, I had